Hi, and welcome to this month's webinar, What CRM is Right for Your Company. It's brought to you by North American Ag and sponsored by Focus Management. Focus Management is your strategy execution specialist for your company. You can find them at focusmanagement.ca. I'm Chrissy Wozniak, and if you have any questions as we go along, just put them into the chat, and I'll keep watch of that and answer questions as we go along. So if you bring up CRMs to a bunch of salespeople, you're going to probably get some groans. In general, salespeople have had bad experiences with CRMs. So in my experience, I've been a salesperson my whole adult life. I've had to create a way to make managing my sales pipeline more organized and efficient over the years. Back in the old days, I had a paper filing system and a Rolodex, and I had to document everything so I wouldn't forget the details, right? Back then, we had a big blind spot when it came to how our customers interacted with us. Because we couldn't make decisions based on their behavior, we just worked with what they told us at face value, right? Along the way through my career, I had sales managers, and some were good, some were bad, some were downright obnoxious. And one thing that always bothered me about sales managers was that it kind of felt like they would pile work on me just to justify their job to their boss, right? I couldn't see why I would have to spend 1 or 2 hours a week making reports. I was hired to be a salesperson. I wanted to sell. I didn't want to be held back and had to tied to my desk making these dumb, I thought, stupid reports. I just wanted to keep selling. So it just seemed like a huge waste of time. And then eventually I became the sales manager. And when I became a sales manager, I vowed to free my sales team from all of that reporting. I wanted to do things differently. I wanted to create an environment for the sales team that helped them sell more, not add work onto their day to take them away from what they should be doing. So how could I give them the tools that they needed to do a better job, and then have those tools building the reports, right? So that they didn't have to do it. How could their everyday life build those reports as they go through? As CRM technology got better, this has gotten easier and easier to accomplish. Today, the tech is vast and it is incredible. So sometimes the hardest thing is really to decide what technology is the best for your company. But I think it's really important to always remember that you aren't adding workload onto your people. It's to help them. It's to create that environment that they can do a better job. So let's get started. CRM is the right fit for my business. First, we're going to outline what we're going to talk about today. What is the real purpose of a CRM? How to select the right one for your company by identifying your needs. An overview of popular CRM software. How you can increase profit by using a CRM. If it doesn't increase your profit, you don't need it, right? We're going to go over some use case examples in a live system. We're going to explain how cookies can help you and how what integrations can help. We're going to go over pipeline and over basic automations, and also project management, which is also very not easily, but can be done within a CRM as well. And we're going to talk about planning your automated processes. And as always, in every webinar and everything I talk about, we always talk about metrics matter. So we have to have metrics so we can steer our company. And we'll talk about what metrics matter. So what is the purpose of a CRM? To me, the purpose should always be to create a seamless sales process within your company that gives your employees the tools that they need to excel. That'll also give you insight into the buyer's journey and gives management the metrics that they need to steer their company. A CRM should never add to the workload of your sales force. It should make their job more efficient and help them have more meaningful conversations with potential clients. That's what a salesperson's job is to have meaningful conversations with potential clients and existing clients. And you need to make an environment where that is easier. So the purpose is keep track of interactions with customers, maintain and nurture strong relationships with customers, improve communication between departments in your company. And this is something that's often overlooked with people who implement a CRM for their company. They forget that this can also improve the communication between the departments, between marketing and sales, between sales and production, from production to shipping, and then from shipping to customer satisfaction back to marketing, right? So it can really complete the whole process. And that's all in getting it set up properly for your company. It is also to increase profit by using time wisely and creating reliable systems for your company. That's a really big one. A CRM should save you time. And if it's not saving you time, you need a new CRM, or you need to relook over your systems and processes for your company. Time is everything, every single thing. Time is the only thing in the universe, until someone invents a time machine, that is not renewable. Either you use it wisely or you don't. Time will still tick, tick, tick away, no matter how you spend it. What we are going to do is make a few simple tweaks to make your business run like a well-oiled machine, and in the process, give you back that ever-precious time that seems to move more slowly and comfortably. Now, wouldn't we all love that? So this is a quote from Mike Michalowicz, one of my heroes, in his book, Clockwork. So what I recommend is that you read Clockwork before you implement a CRM. It will change your life, change the life of your company. You definitely need to read that. You can go to my website, chrissywozniak.com, or chrissy.info, because that's easier to spell. You'll go to chrissy.info and go to my what to read next page, and you'll find that book there. Find the link that, and then you can read that book. I highly recommend it. It's all about, creating these perfect processes within your company. And of course, you can use a CRM to do that. So you need to select the right CRM by identifying your needs. But I need you to understand, first of all, that an ERP system is not a CRM. Your accounting program is not a CRM. Neither ERPs or accounting software have the capabilities that a good CRM has. So I just want you to remember that. So you need to think about, when you're starting to select which one you need, your company size. If you have 2 or 3 people in your company, you're definitely not going to need, one that costs $3,000 a month. You're going to want something a little bit more affordable for your size. If you have a company of 500 people, you're going to obviously spend a little bit more. How many users do you need? A lot of the platforms charge per user. So make sure as you're digging around, make sure you figure out how many users you're going to need so you can properly calculate that price. And what your budget is. You don't want to spend more on a CRM than what your revenue is, and it has to make sense. So also consider your budget. You also have to think about your website. Is your website brochure style, or is it an e-commerce website? And the reason why you have to think about this is because CRM alone is great, but you really need integrations to make the magic happen. So if you have a brochure style website, you might not need as many integrations as if you have an e-commerce website where people are buying and selling through your site, and you want that information carried back into the CRM. So that's important to think about, because integrations will cost you money. So think about what integrations you would want beforehand. Also, do you have a marketing team? So if you have, one person who's doing sales and marketing, you might not be using all the capabilities in the CRM, because the CRM really goes hand in hand with your marketing. So if you have a large marketing team, you might want a CRM platform with more bells and whistles. If you don't, then you might want one that doesn't have quite as many bells and whistles and maybe not as polished. So, I recommend having a marketing team, your marketing team, and a good marketing team and a creative marketing team that's good in technology. I do recommend that. And then with that, you'll have so many more capabilities within your CRM. So there are a lot of many CRM choices out there. But first, I just want you to be aware of the free CRM. Most CRM software starts with a free platform. But I think this can be really misleading because the magic isn't in the CRM itself. It's all the additional integrations that make it so valuable. So be careful when choosing, because to really get the functionality, you're going to have to progress to the paid options. So don't get sucked into a free CRM right off the bat. Make sure you look to see, as your company grows, what you're going to have to add on to it. There really is no, that I've seen, maybe it's out there, please tell me if there is, but I haven't seen a good free CRM that you can use out of the box. You have to add, it's like a gateway drug, right? It's just to get you hooked on the CRM so that they can sell you their bigger packages. So definitely keep that in mind when you're choosing. So first, we're going to talk about Freshworks. It was used to be called Fresh Sales. Now it's called Freshworks. This one is $29 to $125 per month per user. So it can be a good choice for small companies who are just starting up. And but you can see the price would go up quickly if you have a large team using it, right? So, but it could be a very good choice for a very small company who's just getting into this. It does have a visual sales pipeline, which is really important, and it has a drip campaign builder, which is also very important. We'll kind of go into these details as we go to. Infusionsoft is another one. It's also called Keap, and it is approximately $5.99 per month plus, and it includes 10 users. So the other one that was charged per user, you could get up to this price pretty quickly, right? It also has a landing page builder, which means that you don't have to hire a web designer every time you want to make a new web page. So this is the landing page builder is a great feature in a CRM, because if you have events, if you have sign-up forms, those can all be hosted on a landing page within the CRM. And like I said, you don't need any coding experience. They're usually just drag and drop. So Infusionsoft has that. And it also can do drip campaigns. And drip campaigns I can't, say enough good things about drip campaigns to educate it's more on the marketing side, but it's really to educate your clients and your potential customers in small bite-sized pieces over time, right? A consistent message distributed to your audience over time is what marketing really is. And that can go in hand with your sales team and be housed within your CRM. SharpSpring is another one, and SharpSpring is the one that I recommend most for most companies. Not all companies, but most companies. I use SharpSpring, and a lot of my consulting work is through helping companies with SharpSpring. I don't sell SharpSpring, so if you need me to direct you to an agency that does sell SharpSpring, I can do that. But I don't sell it myself. I just, I do really like the platform. None of the platforms are perfect, I'll say that. They all can use, evolving, I guess. But this one would be the one that I like the most. So to start out with SharpSpring, you're going to start at about $580 per month. It depends on how many contacts. So this is based on 5,000 contacts, and it goes up. The price goes up from there. Most companies can get started at this level and have a nice, robust CRM and keep the 5,000 contacts. And then there's the option to grow as you get bigger as well. There are unlimited users included in SharpSpring, which is really great. You don't have to worry about your team growing and the price growing at the same time. And the one thing I really like about SharpSpring is it does have a life of the lead feature. And for a sales team, this is gold. You have a file, and I'm going to show you later. I'm going to walk you through some examples. But your sales, your lead file has a file, and on that contact record, there's a tab that says Life of the Lead, and you can actually see everything that lead has done over time since the beginning of that relationship. And kind of everything gets tracked. And that is very, very useful for salespeople to be able to see what has happened with that lead. There's also a landing page builder included in SharpSpring. That landing page builder needs improvement. It is not the slickest for sure. But because of all the other features in SharpSpring, I can deal with the landing page builder. You can also manage all of your drip campaigns through SharpSpring as well. So that's really great. The next one we'll talk about is Salesforce. Salesforce, also Pardot, is the marketing end of Salesforce, and Salesforce is the CRM. You're going to pay about $2,000 a month plus for this one. The biggest benefit is they've been around for a long time, and they've perfected a lot of the little minute details in running their CRM. There's unlimited users in this one. It also has a landing page builder, and it has drip campaigns. So if you want the best of the best CRM, then Salesforce could be the option for you. HubSpot is the other one. HubSpot, you're going to pay $3,200 a month plus for HubSpot. It includes unlimited users, but it is the Cadillac of marketing automation. So if budget is not a consideration for you, and if you have a big marketing team, HubSpot might be the right choice for you. They've also been around one of the longest, and where Salesforce really focuses on the CRM, HubSpot has really got all the marketing portion down pat. So those are my recommendations. And now let's get into how can you actually increase profit using a CRM. And I'm going to show you some examples. We're going to go over how you can use cookies, integrations, your pipeline, and automations. So, also project management as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a live instance here. So this is a live instance of SharpSpring. And this is with a company that I work with, that I do consulting with and training, called Entrepreneurs Organization. And just a quick plug for them. They are an incredible organization that's all over Canada and the US, Europe, all over the world. And it's an organization really devoted to helping company owners get better, right? Get better, increase your profit. It's a really great organization. I have worked with them for the last few years, and I've helped them develop their system here. So if you're interested, just Google Entrepreneurs Organization. Depending if you're in Canada or US, there's a Canadian website, US website. But yeah, if you own your company and you want some like-minded professionals that can kind of take the journey with you, these are the people to be associated with. Enough of the plug. We'll go on. But the first thing I want to talk about is cookies. So cookies are what's put on your computer pretty much every time you go onto a website. When you're on Facebook, you're constantly getting these cookies put on your computer, and that gives information to the companies that are behind it about you, right? About you and about your behavior, about what you like and what you don't like. Now, yes, it can be very invasive. I think we've all experienced that, but it also is very useful for a company to develop a message that is personalized for each lead. Right. So here's an example. This is what a contact record looks like in SharpSpring. And you can see these tabs here. So all of the information is here. There's also custom fields here that you can set up. These are totally 100% customizable and are linked to a lot of automations and workflows in behind. But this here is called Life of the Lead. And this is where cookies come in place. This here tells you where this person has visited. So you can see that on the 17th of February, they visited all of these pages, right? So you can now, a salesperson can come in here and look and see, okay, they visited Vancouver and Calgary. So that must mean, they're interested in Western Canada. Can see how long they were on each of those pages. And then they filled out a form. So they went to this form, which would have been on that website, and they're interested. So they filled out the contact form. And so they filled out all of the things that EO needs to take a look at that, the potential of them becoming a member. And then there's an automation that happens inside after they fill out that form. Because they're close to Vancouver, it was assigned to Vancouver. And then this person also signed up for their newsletter. So now any salesperson can come in and say, okay, well, they are interested. They signed up for the newsletter. They filled out the form. And then these automations sent them emails as well. And you can see, because this envelope is open, that they actually opened the email. If it would be a little paper airplane symbol if they didn't open it. So, and the reason this is so great for salespeople is because every salesperson wants a good excuse to call the lead. So if you can sit here and see that they haven't opened a bunch of these emails, you can pretty much figure that those emails are going into their junk box and they're not seeing them. So that gives you a good idea that you should now contact that lead by phone and say, oh, I haven't heard back from you. I'm thinking maybe your emails are in the junk. But if you keep sending emails and they're all open and they're not responding to you, that might mean something completely different, right? So it just gives you this insight into what your customers are actually doing. And you can see that they're visiting links as they go. And then, they're opening every email. They seem very engaged. And they've actually even opened and watched some videos that were embedded on YouTube. So it's really incredible what these cookies can do. If you come over here to this membership tab, you can see any automation that they've been through. So you can see the emails that they've already been given and the ones that they're going to be getting and when they're going to be getting them. So these drip campaigns are set up just to give them little bits of information every few days, and to start getting them warmed up to the idea of becoming a member. You can also see what device they use. So you can see this person's using a Mac. And the reason that this is relevant is that it's good to know if your audience is using, PC, Mac, or mobile device, right? Because then you can tweak your website so it looks better. If the majority of your people are using generally on iPhone, for example, then you can tweak your websites or your pages to look best on that. So that's good data to have. You can see every campaign that they've been in. You can see every email that they've been associated with, and you can see any list that they've been put in, and you can see whatever forms that they've filled out. So, this is a big step from having paper files and a Rolodex, right? It's really incredible what cookies can do. And, even as amazing as if this person went back to the same page twice, you can have an email sent to that person and just automatically about that particular product. So that's really incredible as well. And so I guess one thing is that it's not, so every person that visits your site, if it's tracked using a CRM or marketing automation software, your site has to be tracked for it to be able to see that. So you'd have your web provider place tracking code on your website. So you can't see any other sites that they're visiting, only yours, right? So, and then the other thing to think is, if any anonymous person goes to your website and you don't know their name and you don't know their email address, it's going to place that cookie. And then every single time that they come back, it's going to keep recording what they've done. And your goal is for them to fill out a form So you get their email address to match an email address to that IP address, or send them an email to match it up. So if just random people are coming to your website, it's not going to pull in their name. They still have to give you their name and their email address. So just keep that in mind as well. So it's not like every single person that goes to your website that you're going to get all of this information. This is all part of a relationship, a sales relationship between you and the customer, and the automations as well. So the next thing that we'll talk about is integrations. There are probably millions of different integrations that you can use with SharpSpring, and some of those include like business card readers. So pre-COVID, when I was traveling a lot, I had a business card scanner on my phone, and I would collect business cards, through trade shows and wherever I was. And I would be able to scan that card at the end of the day in my hotel room, and all of that person's information would get directly put into SharpSpring. And that is beautiful, right? Because I lived through days and years of having to manually input these people into whatever system, whether it was an Excel sheet, whether it was accounting software, right? And that takes a lot of time, especially after you're tired after a day. So, that's an example of a really great integration. Also, you can integrate with your accounting programs so that it can talk both ways. So your CRM can put in the customer information into your accounting system so that when you're ready to make an invoice or an estimate, that information is already there. So that also helps you save time. And also, every time you save time, you are increasing your profit. So then you go into your accounting program, you create your invoice, and now that accounting program can feed that back into SharpSpring and record that sale in the reports in behind. So that's really incredible. So you can also, there's millions of integrations. Like, I could go on forever talking about integrations. But really the magic of a CRM is really unleashed when you integrate it with other software. So the next thing that we'll talk about, I'll go back to another integration with your website. I'll just show you this quick. And most of the higher level CRMs have these features. So it's not just SharpSpring that has these. It's just that this is my best examples, right, is showing you live here. So here, you can see it's integrated with the website, and it can give you really great data. So you can see here where these leads are coming from. They're coming in from Google or Bing. You can see Google wins this one. You can see what other sites that people are coming in from. And you can also see where people are coming in from social media. So you can see Facebook is winning this one, and then LinkedIn, then Twitter, and then Instagram. And then you can see also from email marketing right there where people are coming to the site. And then also your paid search. So you can integrate your Google Ads as well, and Yahoo advertising and Bing. And you can see that that's bringing in a lot of traffic. So this is another example of an integration that can help you, especially obviously with the metrics, which we'll talk about later. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the pipeline. So all of the good CRMs will have a visual pipeline, and this is really important. Let's go over here to this one. In SharpSpring, you can have unlimited number of pipelines, which is really great if you are selling to if you have different product lines, you can have a pipeline set up for each one. So this here is, you can see these ones are outlined in purple, and some of them are not outlined in purple. The ones that are outlined in purple means that opportunity was placed in the pipeline automatically due to the behavior of the lead. So that is really amazing, because one thing that makes a salesperson groan when they hear CRM is that they think that they have to go in and manually put all of their leads in, but that's not true anymore. So what happens here is that when somebody goes to the website and fills out the form, they're automatically put into the pipeline. Now the salesperson can just go through and see who they should follow up with, and then with EO, for example, they've set up, which this is customizable too, but they've set this up for a path to membership in entrepreneurs' organizations. So this one just means that they responded to initial contact. So they filled out a form and they were placed in here, or they're manually placed in here from the lead owner, the salesperson. Then they were invited to an event. So this can also be automated, so that if you send out an invitation and they reply, then they can be placed here and then registered for an event. Then they can be, as soon as they fill out the form to register, they can be put into this one. After they attend, what they do here in their workflow is they have a box that says this person has attended the event on the contact record. They click that box and it gets put over here. So just by them going about their business, it's filling their pipeline and it's moving them along the stages. And now they have just a really great idea of what's happening all the time. So then they are invited to join, submit their applications, and then the prospect joins. And then once they join, it goes into another bucket called one. So these are the ones that that they went all the way through the process and they have now become members. So you can see how nice this is. You can also see any that were lost. And then you can also see right with one click of the button, they can see their sales forecast. So the first time I saw it, almost made me tear up, because I remember spending so much time making sales forecasts as a sales manager. And here, these salespeople don't have to input any data, and the sales manager can come in and click one button and have a sales forecast to hand to the management or production, right? And so and it's really fun to set up. I'm a geek, so maybe it's not as fun for everybody else, but to me, doing this stuff is really fun. And you get to see real results, right? You get to really see, and you know these people are being helped. The people that work here are being helped, and it's taking workload off of their shoulders instead of putting more work onto them. So the pipeline can also be used for project management. So you can have a pipeline. So if we go into this one here, once they become a member, there's also things that they can go through. Now, if this isn't, if your company isn't a membership forum, this could be a product being built, right? So this could be product was purchased and then has entered production, engineering is complete, this is complete, this is complete. And you can keep track of your project management in here as well. So that I've helped a lot of companies set up, and it works. It works so well. So just remember that your CRM doesn't end when the sale is made. It can help you all the way through until shipping, and then beyond shipping as well. So yeah, there are a lot more than just, at face value, what you think it can do. There's a lot more. So the next thing that we'll talk about are automations. And so you can see there are a lot of options here in automations. We're going to look at visual workflows and some examples of that. So the things that you can automate, first of all, are your pipeline, like we just saw. You can automate responses to emails, to form fill-outs, to website visits. You can automate your newsletters. You can automate contracts, which is actually a really cool feature, that you can automate contracts being filled out by automatically bringing in customer information. And that saves companies a lot of time to automate the sales sales process, contracts, and the signing of contracts and that. You can also automate the warranty processes. If you need your customers to fill out warranties, that can be automated, and also membership dues. And another thing that's really cool about the automations is it's something called dynamic content. And what that means is if you send an email and you say your customers are dairy farmers, beef farmers, and sheep farmers, with dynamic content, you can send out one newsletter. And if they're a dairy farmer, they'll see dairy cows. If they're a beef farmer, they'll see beef cows. If they're a sheep farmer, they will see sheep. So that's mind-blowing, really, what the capabilities of that. So most of the CRMs at the higher end include dynamic content, and that's something that is, a marketing team just goes crazy over, right? And it saves time because now you only need one email. So here are some examples there are a lot of different workflows in here. Let's go into this folder, and this is a simple workflow. You can see that it was created 4 months ago. It's been run 109 times. It was last run 2 days ago. So this is one that's being used, and you can see that it's seriously a visual workflow. You can see what's happening. So you always have a trigger. So it's triggered based on a form fill out. It sends a notification to the proper person, and then it sends an email out to the lead. So this is a very simple workflow. I'll show you another example of a more complicated workflow. So this one here, you can see it's run 100 times. It was last run 7 hours ago, and there's 14 branches. So this one here is an example of a workflow that could help your inside sales team. So if you have leads coming in and you have somebody at your inside sales desk or somewhere that is receiving those web leads and deciding who to send them to, if you have 1 or 2 leads a week, that's no big deal. If you have hundreds of leads coming in every day, that's a full-time job. But with a CRM, you can have your lead come in based on whichever trigger, whichever form, and then based on a filter, which is based on who the salesperson is, it is assigned to a certain person. So that's pretty cool for a company that's getting a lot of leads that come in. They no longer have to hire somebody just to sort through the web leads coming in, and it assigns them to the proper city and then notifies them as well. So that's a kind of a more complicated workflow, but one that you can definitely see a return on investment for this one. Another example of, I'll just show you. You can also have action groups. They're another kind of workflow that if you needed to change the persona and you wanted to do a bulk action, that's when you would use one of these. And so instead of sitting there going through all of your contacts and changing whether somebody's a member or a non-member, you can take a whole list and run an automation to just that list to do those changes for you. So there are a lot of ways to make, a lot of people still use Excel sheets, and a lot of that is manual. This here can make that workflow a lot easier. Another part is another thing you can do is send smart mails to, let's go back to our contact. I passed him. There we are. All right. So say we're at this person here, and you can use this smart mail feature here. So your salesperson decided that they need to send them something. So you can have preset emails here that are pre-written, and they pull in the customer's information. So you can see it pulls in their name, it pulls in their company. And this is an excellent way to save time when your people are creating emails. And so then you can either personalize it or just send it right away. So that is another really incredible feature of CRMs that saves real time and increases profit. So we're going to go back to the presentation. And now we're going to talk about planning your company's automated processes. So this is, somebody gets a CRM and they get so excited about what to do and how they can use it. And but I recommend starting out with an Excel sheet or a workflow. I use draw.io. I really like that program. It's so easy for planning out workflows. So you need to plan it out first before you get in there, because you will get overwhelmed with all of the options, and you need to really document the path that your customer needs to take to make a purchase. So that's the first step. Document exactly what happens. Not only what happens within the company, but what are the questions that they ask along the way, because you can automate a lot of those responses. And what are the steps needed along the path to make the sale, from marketing all the way to shipping. So what is the tangible steps, like what emails are sent, who gets what email in what department, and there's you just track that right from beginning to end. So that's how you start. Also, get help when you need it. It's very overwhelming when you first get into a CRM and there is a spider web of things you can do. The worst thing you can do is get in over your head and then give up on it. And I've definitely seen that before. And I often get called in at that point when people are over their head and too many people have built too many things and nobody knows what's going on. So definitely get help when you need it. You can, depending on what CRM you choose, you can go to the agency that sold it to you for help, or I'm always available as well to help with these things. So definitely do that when you need it. And then lastly, metrics matter. Metrics always matter. We need to be able to pivot and adjust our company based on what's working and not what's not working. So what metrics do you need to track while you're running your CRM right from the beginning? You need to track revenue, of course. And you can set up these reports based on sales using integrations from your accounting programs and from your sales pipeline. You need to watch your sales by rep, right? Who are your high performers and who are the reps that need help? Always be watching that. You need to watch sales by customer. And, something that's important to pay attention to is what customers have the most profit, that are really worth it because they use less time, because there's less cost associated with that customer. So you need to be watching that. Your profit and loss, of course, that is very important to your company, and that you can have those automated reports too. Website traffic, you need, especially in this age especially in agriculture, we've definitely relied on person-to-person, face-to-face visits and events. But now we do have to pay attention to website traffic. Hopefully we get more back into our handshake industry. That's where I like to be. But, we have to move with the times as well. So that has to be a metric. And one that I always really like to keep track of is the quantity of estimates versus quantity of invoices. So this is a quick one that can be set up. And if you have generally have a closing ratio of 20%, so you've got 100 estimates and you close 20 invoices, then suddenly for a few months, you're only closing 5 of 100 estimates. That is a sign of trouble, and it's a sign that you can pick up on fast. That's alerting you to that problem, that there could be a problem, and whether that's maybe cost or somebody gaining market share, that's something you want to be aware of very quickly. So you should be paying attention to that. And you use these metrics really to guide your decisions. You can't operate in a vacuum, and you can't just close your eyes and just hope that everything's going to work out. And I know we all tend to think like that sometimes, where we're just so busy fighting fires that we don't really work on our business. We're just working in our business. So hopefully with making these right decisions, that's this is the first step to really creating a better company for you and your employees too. So we're going to recap now. A CRM's purpose is to increase profit by improving communication and saving precious time. Consider your company's size, how many users you need, your budget, and the style of your website and the size and capabilities of your marketing team. We talked about several popular CRM software options and their features. Increase profit using the many features of a good CRM. And those include cookies. So definitely leverage cookies. You need to be doing that. Look into what integrations will help your company. Build a solid visual pipeline, and really look into what automations can help your company operate more smoothly and more efficiently. And then project management, and look into the options for that. Always plan out your automated processes before you just jump into making them. It's so important. And then, of course, metrics matter. Be sure that you are measuring the right things so you can steer your company in the right direction. And that's about it. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you found all the information useful. If you have any questions going forward, feel free to reach out to me anytime, and I can try my best to help you. If you need help with your marketing, or if you're looking for advertising opportunities in agriculture, you can go to my site, chrissy.info or chrissywozniak.com, where I have many options laid out there. And also that includes options within NorthAmericanAg.com as well. So a special thanks to our sponsor, Focus Management, and to NorthAmericanAg.com. And until next month, thanks so much for being here. Have a great day.